Hello everybody and welcome to the 2022 NBA Draft. Today, Colin, we will go through all 30 first round draft picks in separate videos, separated by team, so a lot of work for us, but we hope you all enjoy it. Obviously, this will be the Orlando Magic pick. And yeah, Colin, I know we did a mock draft. You had them taking Paolo Banchero. It's been a roller coaster over the past, 24 hours, where Jabari Smith was the heavy favorite, and this is talking about betting favorites. So I won't get into details, but Jabari Smith was the heavy favorite. Then Paolo Banchero became the favorite.
It went from like minus 100 to minus 200, and then this morning it opened up with Jabari Smith at minus 10,000, which means that he's favored by that much.
And so Jabari Smith is now the heavy favorite to be drafted, at least last we checked. And so I don't know what to expect, except I assume it goes Jabari, Chet to Paolo. I think that's what we can all
I think that's
kind of assume at this point. Let's see. Adam Silver's taking the podium right now. What do you think? Now, I know you picked Paolo Banchero for the Magic. Is that because of his creation? Is that because of his upside? Why do you think that he's a better prospect than Jabari Smith?
I just think if you have a guy up, they need a big guy. One, he can play center. You have three creators in the offense. So you have, first of all, your front court would be crazy. Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and then you have all the young guards around them. I think that's a perfect storm for...
You have Wendell Carter at center as well.
Wendell Carter at center, yeah. So I think that's a perfect storm for all of them. Whereas if he goes to the Rockets, I just feel like that's almost a bad situation for him. Although he'd had the ball in his hands a lot, I just think it's like you're on a team that isn't there culturally, I think, just because, they're moving on from James Harden. You have a lot of guys who are athletic and offensive players, but aren't really quite caught up with buying into the defensive part, which is what Paolo Banchero needs to buy into.
And not for nothing, I feel like the Magic are farther along in their rebuild process than the Rockets are. Even though, obviously, neither one had a good year by any means. I just feel like with the additional Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs obviously didn't have a great year. Cole Anthony is an alright player. But you look at it, and they've had top draft picks forever. And obviously, so have the Thunder, and the Rockets are kind of just now getting into that rebuild. You trade Christian Wood, you're looking at a four-man. And I just feel like that kind of just makes sense in a lot of ways. I would probably, again, I have Chet Holmgren number one on my big board. I don't know who I would take with this number one pick. I just think Chet Holmgren is too good to pass up on, but obviously he's probably not going to go number one. So if we're looking at these two prospects in itself, I don't know. I don't know who I'd take.
I think I just like Paolo being there only because of his upside. I think the Magic need a high swing for the fences, you say, whereas Jabari is more of a, we already talked about, he has the highest floor, and that's not to say you can't become a star, but I feel like Paolo has that chance to be, if he puts it all together, a two-way All-NBA type player. And again, not to say Jabari can't, it's just that, with the creation and all the other facets of his offensive game, I just think that would be a good fit for Paolo. Now, I think the Rockets, obviously, you want to get Paolo. I mean, if he falls to three, I think that's the guy you want to get. I just think it's a better fit for Paolo on the Magic than it is the Rockets.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting. Obviously, the Magic are now on the clock. We know that in the past few years they've been very disappointing, and this is a huge... This is huge for them because they've had like Mo Bamba, like I talked about, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter. Go down the list. Markell Fultz now.
Markell
obviously
Fultz.
They didn't draft.
They traded for him.
Yeah, they got him. They need that like they have Dwight Howard. They need that Shaquille O'Neal. They need that Chris Webber. And while I think this draft can pose that and can give that to them, I feel like they have to make it work around them as well. You can't just get this guy and all your problems are fixed. And I just think there's too many holes for this team. And you need the development, which is something that Magic, Kings, like you look at the top half of this draft, really, the top 5, 6 in the draft, player development is something that I think is equally as important as getting these picks. Like, you have to be able to develop. The Kings have notoriously been unable to develop these players. The Thunder, we're going to see, because they've obviously, this is their whole Sam Presti's plan. Stockpile draft picks. Well, and then you have the draft picks. You have the upside players in SGA, Dort, go down the list, Chet Holmgren, Alexei Pukazevsky. What are you going to do with them now? And I think with the Magic, it's pretty... it's on their organization now. It's not about like, okay,
Right.
we need to tank to get the
Right.
talent. We have the talent, we need to develop. So I think that's just
I
what
completely
it's about.
agree. Yeah, because we've seen the Thunder develop people, and then we've seen them in the past. Obviously, they drafted Russell Westbrook, James Harden, all those guys,
Yeah.
and it's time to see what they can do next. Now, like you said with the Magic, they've fallen to the top 5 a few times in the last 5 or so years, and they need to finally capitalize on that talent, because what are you going to do if a Jalen Suggs, a Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, although they didn't draft him, they still have him
Yeah.
as a player. Wendell Carter, like you said, you got to start putting it together, because what are you drafting for? What are you tanking for at this point?
Yeah. Well, the pick is in. Very quick. With 2.5
Maybe
minutes left.
the minus 10,000 was correct. Jabari Smith.
Yeah, I mean, you really, to me, you can't go wrong with these three.
No,
It's a 3-player draft at the top. Jaden Ivey, I know you're high on him.
I love Jaden
I
Ivey.
have him, I think, at 4 on my board. I'm high on him as well. I think he's going to be very, very good. But to me, these are the 3 guys that are... They have the high floor and the high ceiling. Jaden
Right,
Ivey,
Jaden Ivey doesn't have a high floor.
I'm not saying Jaden Ivey could be a bust because we didn't have him in our best potential
Right.
video. Check that out if you haven't already. But I just don't see it the way that Chet Holmgren at the very least will be an all-defense, center, big man.
Right, exactly.
Paolo Banchero has the skill set to be an all-star at the very least, I think.
Yeah.
Jabari Smith is going to be a great scorer,
Yep.
great shooter.
Yep.
I think you start with those 3 and you kind of go from
I
there. And we'll
completely
get into
agree.
the rest of that once all this happens. But
And assuming they do draft Jabari, the question is, who's going to be your playmaker on this Magic team? Obviously, Jabari can do it all, but the one thing he's not is a really good playmaker.
Handler, ball
And-
handler.
Exactly, a good ball handler. So you are relying on those guards at this point. So we'll see what they end up doing in the offseason, obviously. But it's going to be interesting, assuming they do take Jabari, where they go from there.
yeah, I mean, obviously free agency's ahead. I just think this is one of those picks where you make the pick and just play your young guys. You see who you can keep, because that's what this year will be about, and that's what last year was about. Obviously, now you know Franz Wagner is a keeper and other guys are a keeper. So let's see who the Magic take with the first overall pick.
With the first pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Paolo Banchero.
Wow!
Whoa, let's go!
Banchero.
Hey, we joked about taking shots for every pick we got wrong. I got this pick right, so
so I got a shot.
yeah, you got to take a shot. No, I
Wow.
love the pick for the Magic. I think with Paolo, you take the responsibility off the guards that you don't necessarily know if are there yet. So you have a Cole Anthony, you have a Jalen Suggs, now you have a Paolo Banchero who's obviously comfortable with the ball. The question still is, you still need to develop those guards. Paolo Banchero right now can't be the do-it-all guy as a rookie. You still need to have a guy that can come in and do that. But, I'm going to play devil's advocate, even though I like Paolo here. I think you are giving up, obviously, the shooting, and I don't think that's something the Magic are missing. They need that efficient scorer, and they don't necessarily have that yet. So you got to hope, one, that Paolo develops the defense, but also early in his career, his first year especially, that he's comfortable in the NBA handling the ball. Because that's going to be the biggest thing right now, and that's why I think they didn't go with Jabari, is because they don't trust the guards as much as they should.
Yeah, I think the shooting is obviously a huge thing. I think a lot of people that love Jabari will be like, it's there. He will get that in his game very quickly. The second thing is the defense. And at Duke, they did not play defense as a team last year very much, so I don't want to put all that on him, but it's just like, he was obviously checked out, and we compare him maybe to like a Jalen Green as far as on the defense side of the ball, where it was just not there. It will take time, and you have to, and that's where we go back to the Magic development. They're going to have to be able to develop him as an all-around player, because he has the tools to be an amazing player. So I think this is a great pick. I love his upside, and I think, not for nothing, I mean, you put him on that team with Franz Wagner, that's a 1-2 punch.
Oh, yeah.
And if nothing else, even if Suggs, Anthony,
Everyone else doesn't work
other
out.
guys are
Yeah.
just hit or miss, I mean, I think Wagner's going to be really, really
Oh,
good.
I agree. I agree. And not only that, I think that for Paolo, I think this is a better fit than the Rockets. Like I said, culture is a big thing. I don't think the Rockets are there yet. They have too many young players. And I think that this is going to be the right fit. Now, again, did the Magic have the front office to develop him? And that's going to be what happens at the end of the day. But I think for Paolo, this is a better opportunity than the Rockets.
Who just? Oh, we have to get to the next video, but who just compared him to Ben Simmons? I mean,
That's a bad comparison.
Ben Simmons. I mean, coming out of college, I guess I could see it. Ben Simmons wasn't great. Didn't put a lot of effort on defense, but he now was a great defender. So yeah, I don't really see that. But thank y'all for joining us. Congratulations to the Orlando Magic fans watching the video. You got yourself a star, and we'll see how the rest of it plays out.